Hello, welcome, Gen Chem Nation. Here in this video, we're going to talk about how to get started with our general chemistry experience and trying to start to navigate something which is very new to me as well as to all the other professors on UVM's campus, which is Brightspace. Brightspace is our main online program that allows us to basically provide information for you in terms of, exam dates, homework assignments, things like that, as well as providing, extra information to help you throughout the semester. And when we log in to Brightspace, we find that we should come to a page that looks similar to this. Yours might look a little bit different since I'm running this as kind of as a staff member, uh, but and even my account would look much more different. So trying to get it as close as I think to what you would be seeing. Um, but what we see at the very top is we see that this is the Chem 1400B section that I have. I also have an F section. So for those that are watching that are part of the F section, you're going to have basically exactly what we see here, except for that B will be turned into an F. So it's exactly the same. So this is kind of the start-in page. Um, if we look at the bottom here, we have bottom left, we have announcements. No announcements yet, but as soon as the course is open, I will be using announcements a lot to kind of keep us in tune with the schedule and where we're going, what's expected of us, etc. And then there's the calendar, which we see off to the right. We already do have an assignment that's coming up, which is this Pick Your Scientist thing. Don't worry, we'll get more into talking about that once the semester starts, as far as what that exact assignment entails. But you'll have this on this front page, this kind of like, okay, here's what's going on, here's current announcement where I will be including homework, and then we'll find a calendar to hopefully keep us, up to date with those homework assignments. So that's what's, if we look at the top green bar, that's what is the course home. So the course home always takes us back to this page. The next would be contents and activities, and this is really kind of like a table of contents that is there. And if we look off to the left, we see a navigation pane, um, which involves the syllabus, bookmarks, course schedule. For instance, and this is just kind of standard protocol for their web design. But we have the syllabus link at the top that directly takes you to the full syllabus, which I've already put a video together for us within the module syllabus, but as well as bookmarks that you can make, and then the course schedule as well, telling us what's coming up, within, you know, the present to the near future. Um, I'm not too worried about those top three links. It's the bottom ones that I'm more interested in because in describing, because these are the ones that I've created. Um, and so this is the table of contents, and where we're at right now is we're within getting started. So so here is our first part of the table of contents, getting started. And if you look within the middle, we have materials, and one is let's get started, and the other is ebb and flow of lecture. So if I click get started, that actually is going to take me to the page I'm developing right now for you. I already have the text written within the getting started feature, which you've already seen because you're accessing this video that we see at the top. So we've already made it this far within Let's Getting Started. If you look at the top left, underneath the green bar, you notice that there is some navigation that you can do to go back and forward. meaning I can go back to getting started or go back to the table of contents. We see those blue little links at the top left. There is also this push out menu that you can also use to do that navigation as well. It's up to you. I kind of prefer the top, which allows me to either go back to getting started where we were just talking about, or even go all the way back to then the table of contents if I want to. Next video we'll get to will be the ebb and flow of lecture. And so look for that video uh, work or after this particular one, which is just really explaining, again, just explaining Brightspace. And then this video will explain more how the particulars work from one lecture to another lecture. So I'm going to go back to the table of contents here. And I know they have all these. If we look at the middle top, we see this 16.3%, 45 of 276 topics completed. Don't sweat that, okay? There's so much information that I provided on Brightspace that you're never probably going to complete all the exact topics because there's so many help videos, lecture videos, etc. And that's what I want to get into. What I want to get into next. All right, so looking at the rest of this information that we need to kind of just pan through, notice we're back at this, we're in that table of contents area. And, if we look below the table of contents link on the far left, we see getting started, we see, 1, 2, 3, 4, syllabus, assignments, Alex, etc. We also see that actually on the right side of the page, really kind of seeing a mirror image of the same thing. Um, Here on the right, what this is allowing you to do is see everything because of these drop down menus. So you have drop down menus of the getting started links, the syllabus, even you can drop down from the syllabus or view the topic if you want, assignments, etc. So you have the ability to use one pane to kind of navigate, if you will, or you can just use the table of contents navigation section on the left. So, for instance, we could go to, say, number 1, syllabus, and here we see the syllabus link. And if we go into that syllabus link, what we find is that we have the full syllabus at the top. We also find that I've broken down all the pieces of the syllabus. So if you're just looking for specific information like lab information or lecture schedule or grades, I've split that syllabus up so you can go directly to that section so you don't have to necessarily search all around. Again, at the top, we have those under the green navigation area, we have the ability to go backwards, right? So I'll go back to the table of contents. And we would go then to maybe the next piece, which would be assignments. And so here is where in our announcements, I'll be posting assignments, but this is where you need to go to then actually do those assignments. So here we have our modules. Remember, each module is a chapter. So we have the syllabus module. We have then modules 1 through 12, right, which is basically what we'll be covering here in Chem 31. So we can go through each one of these modules and see that, for instance, if we go to module 1, chapter 1, we have some learning objectives here at the bottom. And at the very bottom, we see assignment for module 1. And we enter into this pane. Which is basically how the module is broken down. So first off, I love music, so I will also post music videos within my assignments. It's up to you whether you want to watch those or not. I mean, that's totally up to you. But as we go down here, we see that we have lecture videos for Module 1, Lecture 2, Lecture 3. These are basically splitting down into concepts. I also have, what the sections of the chapter these ascribe to. Um, if we look down below the videos, not necessarily video 1, but video 2, in terms of part 2, we see that we have chapter 1 homework in red. So those are the homework problems I want us to do within the back of the chapter in the textbook. These are all textbook driven questions. It's very different than Alex, and we'll talk about Alex later. Um, and then these are all the videos that we see for this particular module. And not that you have to do the whole module at once. Believe me, I will be, pointing us to exactly what we need to be doing before each class comes up. Um, a lot of these videos were taken from when we were teaching from different textbooks. So even though sometimes the videos have a different heading, because if you look at these videos, it says Mod E. Believe me, it's in the correct place. We are doing a new textbook this semester, and so there is no Chapter E in our textbook. It starts with Chapter 1. So don't get confused there. They are in the right place. Not only do we have practice homework after each video, sometimes we also have helpful videos. These are in purple underneath. That if, for instance, for lecture 3, where we talk about significant figures in mathematics, if you're having some difficulty with that, well, here's another extra video in chapter 1, number 88AC that we see in the middle that will lend itself to helping us possibly. So if you click on that link, it basically just takes us to just a little video
This
of
is number
me
88,
doing a
chapter 1.
particular
I'm going to
problem.
do part A and part C.
And it's just me going through a
Now,
particular problem.
Cal,
Sorry,
you have to realize that
just
we don't,
just to show you. There you
we
go.
get
Just showing you the mathematics of that particular problem.
13.794. We're talking about addition now, and so we can only...
So we have those extra help videos as well. So and then sometimes there's more and sometimes there's less. We see with lecture 4, there's a lot of problems there. Also, there's a lot of videos to help us with that. And then at the very end of every module or chapter, there's these more difficult questions to help test, where we're at and how we're doing. So if I go back to assignments, that's basically how every assignment is developed. That we're going to have learning objectives, and then we're going to have an assignment that follows. And as we go throughout the semester, I will be posting announcements to keep us up to date as to what parts of the module we should be concentrating on for that next class that's coming our way. So that's all of the assignments piece. If you ever want to collapse it because the list is long, you can just click table of contents again, and it kind of collapses everything, just brings you back. Um, Alex is next. Alex is our online program to deal with quizzes. We're going to have quizzes online, exams. Exams are going to be online as well. And it also has a great platform for homework. Now, the homework is a little bit different. And so with Alex, we have to understand that the problems that I'm assigning in the modules don't correspond to Alex because Alex is more of a concept driven um, mechanism. It allows basically what it does is it walks through the textbook, gives you one or two questions. If you can get those right, then you move on to the next topic because you develop mastery of that topic. If, however, you get it wrong, well, then the program then starts to say, okay, we need to do extra problems to make sure that we start to understand this concept. So if you get one wrong, then you might have, an extra, two questions, or depending on how you fare, maybe three questions to get through a particular concept that might be difficult for you. Alex really promotes this idea of, practice makes perfect, which I also promote as well. Anyone that would talk to me in my office I would say, the more you practice, the better off you're going to be. But this software actually really forces you to do that. So that can be more frustrating, but the amount of success you will get from that exercise is 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 really big. Because again, the more you see it, the more you do it, the more you can do it on your own. Is really going to lend it yourself to having a good score within our class. Um, There'll be another video on Alex. Alex again is, like I was saying, is new, so we're working with this kind of new program software. I'm getting used to it, as well as you will be getting used to it. So there might be some quirks, there might be some things that we need to work through, but don't sweat that. We'll all get through it together. Um, there'll be another video about Alex later on to help us navigate that particular part of our of our quizzes and of our exams. So since we're going to have quizzes and exams on Alex, that means that not that you have to do all the homework on Alex, but you should make sure that you do attempt some of the homework on Alex so that you understand like the syntax, how you enter answers, and things of that nature. So not that you have to, if you really don't like the idea of the whole, like, okay, they're going to give me more and more and more problems until I develop mastery. That's okay, but at least try some of them so that you're like I said, entering the answers in the proper format, and things of that nature. And really, there is no difference, I mean, between using the end of chapter questions from the textbook as well as Alex. In both cases, you really need to make sure that as a student, you're practicing and making sure you're developing mastery of those topics and of those mathematical operations. Lastly, we have course materials. And within course materials, I have a lot of information here. Let me shut down some of these folders here. There we go. Um, if we start at the top, we have lecture notes by chapter. And so I'm going to use the right pane for this. It might be just a little bit easier to see. So here are my lecture notes. These are the lecture notes that I kind of use just offhand, as I'm teaching the class. Um, so I've just presented these, for those that people that are interested in. They have lots of sample problem solving skills, stuff like that. These are all basically the same as the lecture videos that I have in the assignments. These are just PDF versions of them. So you don't get my melodious voice or anything like that. But you're able to peruse, whichever chapter you want to see kind of the notes that I personally take. Um, but also you can, I think, probably get a little bit more by watching the videos because of that discussion idea. And in both cases, I go into a lot of detail. Um, Not only do we have the lectures by chapter, we have class question and answer. Now, this folder is empty right now, because these will be the actual notes that we take during class. So during class, I will be using, my iPad to take notes and put them on the screen, and we'll work through problems together, things of that nature. And then at the end of the day, I will then be putting those notes that we took in class within this folder. Um, don't sweat. I mean, again, the navigation is good, but also realize that I'm going to be giving announcements after each class, which will include, what was covered. Like, here's a link to the PDF of what was covered that day. here's a link to the video, the live video of what was covered that day. So um, don't worry about that. We're going to see both of those in terms of class question and answer. Also, I will be putting, we already have these lists of these helpful videos within the assignments, and I will be also posting those within the actual announcements as well. But this is really, just kind of like a repository of where all that information is held. So, like, we can look at all the chapters and then all the videos that are actually there. Here, chapter one, we have like 5 or 6 there videos. Um, you know, so this is just really kind of where they're located, in case we really want to go back and find something. Um, but as we go through that semester, I will be making sure that we are getting, something a little bit easier, meaning more direct links to where these documents or these videos can be found to make it easier on you. So you should simply be getting an email with these hyperlinks, and then it can direct you to the proper location. Not only do I have the textbook problem videos, I also have them closed captioned if you don't like to hear my voice. Those I do not provide hyperlinks for, so you'd have to do some navigation. But it is it's set up exactly the same video, same everything. It's just a CC version of it. Also posted are blank practice exams from the past, 3 years. Well, 2017, 2018, 2019 years. I post blank exams. These are real exams that were given. I also post the keys to those exams. And so this is really kind of good extra practice. I would say I would not use these exams as a study tool. I would use these exams as a gauge of where you're at in your knowledge. The real meat and potatoes, the real, broccoli and seitan of the course is the homework problems, whether you're using the end of the chapter problems or whether you're using Alex. These old exams are really meant to gauge yourself as, okay, well, here's a real exam. Sit down and take it. How do I do? Right? We've all, myself included, have that experience of taking an exam and going in and seeing a question, and we're just like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to start, right? There's basically a blank canvas, or what I call the deer in headlights phenomenon, where you might recognize it a little bit, but you just don't know what to do. Um, Usually that means that we're using the solution manual or we're using help options too often. Um, and or we're maybe using these practice exams too often, because realize from year to year, even though the concepts stay the same, the questions will change. And so changing an and to an if or then to a but really tends to confuse students. So use these more as a gauge and really concentrate your efforts more on the homework assignments, doing those homework problems at the end of the textbook or in Alex. And then throughout the semester, we'll also have SI sessions. We will see actually more folders develop throughout the semester, but SI is basically supplemental instruction or student-led instruction. These are, chem majors that are, in their, junior, senior year. They've done chemistry. They have a good sense of what's going on, and so now they really want to get into the teaching aspect. And so it's a really light, but it's also really, communal in terms of, people showing up, dealing with your peers. And so even though there'll be new SI problem sets as we go throughout the semester, I've just posted some old ones from two really good SI instructors that I had in the past. And also with each one, I post not only the blank session, but also the key. Basically, what you do is you get a ditto when you go into the class, and you basically just work on problems in the SI session, and then you reconvene and then talk about them, which is really kind of the way our class is going to be scheduled. Some other folders that are going to appear are basically help folders. The SI leaders are going to have office hours and review sessions, so I'll be posting that information once that comes in. Also, our teaching assistants, which are going to be your lab instructors, all of them are going to have office hours as well. So I'll be posting that information too. So we'll see, folders develop and realize that I'm not going to be posting something without you knowing. I definitely make a point to make sure that things are in announcements and things are spread out to the students. It's up to you to remember to take note of that or write, those observations down, within your calendar or day planner or what have you. Lastly, just some extra documents, some materials, things that we'll talk about throughout the semester. Nomenclature chart, which is talking about naming of molecules. Vesper chart, which is talking about actually, three-dimensional structure. Forces of attraction, which talks about kind of how we have different phases of materials or matter on our planet. Um, Periodic table as just a guide for you to always have. And then the other one at the very very top of that is steps to success in Chem 31, and basically just me kind of saying what I've already said, but walking through it in a document about what you should be doing, how you should be practicing, etc. So that is Brightspace, and again, I want to say that it is something that is very new. This is the first semester that we've rolled this out. Um, what else do we have? Oh, the last thing that we have, well, you have grades. I'm not sure if this is how it's going to look on your page, but we can go to grades. And not that you're going to see all these names that we're going to see here, but you're going to see, or well, not yet, I guess we don't see the names yet, but you'll see how things are already split up. These are things from the syllabus with our exams, uh, final exam, this video presentation thing, which we need to discuss, and then our lab grade as well. Actually, looks like there's something missing from that presentation piece. I'll have to look at. Presentation should be 50 points, not 40 points, but I will take care of that. But you can get to your grades through that link. Course tools. A lot of this is me, putting things together for you. We don't have any quizzes or self-assessments. The calendar is one that we can use because that's going to be something that's going to give us, upcoming information that's going to be happening. Like for instance, by the month here, we have different dates that are going to give us in green to worry about. We can put that into list format, which gives us different holidays. Here are some assignments in green, like pick your scientist. Also some fun things like Thanksgiving recess. Um, so you have your calendar that you can kind of go through and decide how you want to filter it. Like if you just want to look at what assignments are coming up, you just click the assignments. And so here are, well, I'm going to have to get rid of the labs. They're not supposed to be there. I thought I did that. I have to do that again. Like I said, please take take this with a grain of salt that we're still trying to figure out all the ambiguities that are going to happen here. But it'll allow you to maybe use calendars in a good light when I get a better handle on it, I suppose. Um, yeah, I need to work on that one. Sorry. So that's the calendar part of course tools. The one thing I really want to highlight was the discussion piece. Um, Discussions here we have discussion boards. Here's I start one which is called introductions. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. I give a little introduction about myself here. You can comment on it or laugh at it, whatever you would like. It's fine. Um, I offer two kind of threads. One is good news and one is bad news. Basically, if I'm doing something good, please feel free to give me some kudos. I always like to hear the nice things. Probably more importantly, if the things are, not going well and we're trying to figure something out that maybe I'm not doing the best, let me know. Hey, I'm always open to critiques. I think that as a person, you have to be. You can't just be defensive. You have to open yourself up to criticism so that you can grow as a student, as a teacher, as a person. Um, and so what we do have here are presentation groups. And so this is something we're probably going to talk a little bit more about in class. But basically, I have a group assignment for the class, which is to basically pick a scientist that they admire, um, or one that they're starting to learn about. I'd like it to be a little bit more current, not these old you know, white guys, from like the 1800s, but I'm not saying that you can't, but I'd rather see something a little bit more new, new scientists in the community, um, showing maybe diversity, inclusion, things of that nature. And basically, you're already assigned to a presentation group. I will be posting an Excel file to help with that navigation, but I believe the program is going to be letting you know. So instead of sending out everyone's emails, I put there per group there are 10 students in each group. Some are going to have the same major, some are going to have different majors. It's really an eclectic mix. And so I would subscribe to these. If you're in group one, you see the star at the top to subscribe or unsubscribe, right? Um, but this is the way for students to connect with one another within their actual group. So the presentation deals with, again, picking a scientist that your group members, which is about 7 to 10 students per group, picking a scientist that you collectively find some interest in. And then there's a due date for picking the scientist, and it's first come, first serve. I don't want any doubles. And then the second piece of that, which will be at the very end of the semester, is to submit an actual presentation. This is a video, PowerPoint presentation, if you will, or a video, just a regular video presentation of the group presenting the actual scientist that they're interested in. And it's really quick. I'm only looking at maybe 3 or 4 slides. I definitely go into more particulars within the syllabus about this assignment. And again, we'll be talking about more of that within the classroom. Um, but it's a great way to start some camaraderie, to be brought into a large class, but to at least pick out 10 or so people that you're kind of forced a little bit of contact with, which can be a great thing. And it's people are people, so we learned how to deal with other students as well. It's definitely an experiment for me this semester. This is the first time I've tried it. So I think it's going to develop some community within our classroom, and forcing us to meet other students within our class and within the sciences in general. Um, and then just a short presentation at the end. Um, it's not something to get stressed about. Uh, and again, I think we'll get more into it and more Q&A once the class actually begins. We'll probably talk about this the first day of class. Um, so that's the discussion boards, and that is about it. Again, look very soon for this all opening up. You'll see an announcement trying to get you started here shortly. And I look forward to meeting you all very, very, very soon.